whether it be broadcast, PR, social media, advertising, marketing. We've got quite the group here that is here to help you really create more clients for your business. Now, I want you to just, before we get into introducing everybody, I want to just have you understand that this is our first beta broadcast. We've met together online in this forum for a few weeks, trying to work out a few bugs here and there, but we're really just starting this process and how to broadcast this. So we've invited you, hopefully, a few of our guests and friends to watch this broadcast just to get a feel for what the heck we're doing and see if we can figure out the best means we have of linking up, of communicating, of using social media or the internet to help us broadcast our message, but also to help you. So hopefully we can all get together here and we can get on the same page. We really would appreciate your feedback later on after the end of the show, or individually if you'd like to get back to us to tell us what your feedback might be in this program. So first off, welcome everybody to Crowdstorming. We'll describe that term to you in a few minutes, a little bit more, but I want to go around the table real fast and have everybody say hello who's on the panel. Again, I'm Pete Hansen. I'm the owner of Provo Creative and also Pete Hansen Photography. We'll do longer introductions as we go through the broadcast. But let me go start right now and go to Amber. You're up on the screen. Go ahead and tell us who you are.
Oh, yay. My name's Amber Griffiths, and I'm owner and designer of AG Design.
Awesome, Amber. Go ahead there. Adam, tell us who you are.
I'm Adam McCune, owner of MC3 Media Studios. We do social media marketing.
Very good, Adam. Thank you. Kent Vorkink, the man behind the still face.
That's true. I've been told I have a very stoic look. And yet, I'm Kent Vorkink, and I don't really have any skills, but I'm here because I have so much fun with the brainstorming process, and I'm sometimes associated with Pete in UtahValleyLive.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Kent. Kent and I have been working together off and on for the past 4 years, and he does not lie when he says he enjoys the brainstorming process. This whole idea came as a brainchild, if you will, of a meeting between Kent and Adam and I, really only just a few weeks ago. We met talking about another issue, another question we had, and this kind of idea of a brainstorming community online came across, and here we are today doing our first beta broadcast. So we're really excited about this, and we hope that we can build this thing into a real strong local group of businesses or business owners or entrepreneurs or creative people that want to help each other out, much more than what you might see at a local chamber of commerce meeting or other business organization. We want to one-on-ones or four-on-ones or however many the number might be. We want to really help everybody out. If you are watching this broadcast and you're seeing on the main screen here different faces pop up and so forth, we're using the Google Plus platform, which is pretty darn cool, and Kent might tell us more about that later on. But the process that works on this broadcast is that if the computer hears some speaking, it's voice activated, your visual will change to whoever that person might be. So occasionally you'll have somebody that happens to be, hitting a desk or doing something else, and the video will change to that person, but you'll still hear the other voices. So just be aware, it's kind of like a live computerized switching mechanism to go to whoever might be talking on the panel. All sound good so far?
Sounds great.
Okay, we got thumbs up across the board. I see Kent's thumb somewhere. Very good, awesome. Now, the face that you've been seeing pop in and out of the screen that we haven't introduced yet is Monica, and I'll let Monica introduce her in a second, but she's one of our good friends at Utah Valley Live, and we decided to ask her to be our first guinea pig. And so she has a broadcast on Utah Valley Live, and we're going to talk about that today as our first attempt at crowdstorming. So Monica, go ahead and say hi to our audience and tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, and not details yet, but what it is you're trying to do.
Okay, so basically, I'm Monica Barbour, and host of the Monica Hour. What we're trying to achieve is get some ideas actually from people in the community here, how to promote the program and whatnot. Do you want me to briefly describe the project, or no, not at this point, or? We can wait later.
Yeah,
Is that
we'll
right?
do that in a few
Okay.
seconds. I know today I'm kind of dancing around because I'm new in this chair and this whole program is new. And
Doing
so,
great.
Thank you very much. So we will get back to that. I want to turn a couple seconds over to Kent to describe for us in a better means than what I'm doing what this whole crowdstorming concept is.
Crowdstorming came about, and for those who are watching this archived on YouTube or are actually live with us here on crowdstormingyourbusiness.com, in the About section, it'll tell you that the concept of brainstorming has been around for decades, ever since Torrance at UCLA coined it. And we know that it's a group of people that come together and have an unfiltered discussion, idea generation. And I say unfiltered because one of the tenets of crowdstorming or brainstorming is that there's no judgment in place. Nobody makes a stupid comment. Everybody's comments tend to be recorded. Later on, afterwards, it's filtered. So most people are familiar with brainstorming. It's been around again for decades. But as we thought about this concept, as Pete alluded to, when Adam and he and I were talking, we realized that we wanted the opportunity in some of the local business meetings we had attended to throw our 2 cents in. We like the idea of a business owner being able to present a challenge to the group, and we'd be able to participate in helping solve that challenge. Whether it's coming up with a name for something or perhaps new ways to market something. And we felt that even though this one meeting we had gone to, not to mention the entrepreneurial group that it is, but that they hadn't delivered on their promise, and instead it was just a presentation, and that was really darn boring. And so right then, and as Pete mentioned, in just an off-the-cuff brainstorm session, we came up with an idea of doing exactly that. And then we initially were going to use a platform called Vocal, VOKLE.com, but ended up, because my external camera wouldn't work, like it's not right now, we ended up on Google Hangouts, and we're much happier on Google Hangouts. And as the process went through to naming it, we came up with the idea. Most people, both Pete and Adam, play in bands, and most people have attended concerts or seen what crowd surfing is. And there's a new term that's been around the last couple of years called crowdfunding, where groups of people come together. And so, looking to be creative and innovative, which is kind of the hallmark of this panel, we wanted to come up with a term that we could use, and so we ended up with crowdstorming, a mix of crowd surfing or crowdfunding, kind of with brainstorming. And then we qualified it with crowdstorming your business, so that we would be very specific to our purpose here, because it is to help a local business owner. Monica's falling asleep. And
No,
so,
I'm not. I'll let you go late. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the more you talk, the more the camera points at you, and so
Okay.
you'll learn. And
I'm just sniffling.
so anyway, the idea is we wanted to have a panel, and so we can have up to 9 people on this panel, or 8 people plus the person who is presenting, and then we can have an unlimited number of people who are participating on the website, where they can enter their comments into the chat room, which I am moderating, and then can forward into the group. And so that is the idea. We're going to, in a minute, Monica is going to present the Crowdstorm project of the day. And as Pete mentioned, we're then going to go through each of the panel's areas of expertise with the first go-through, and there any questions they might have, and then we throw it open to the group for a quick Crowdstorm session, including those who are listening on crowdstormingyourbusiness.com, and we'll hopefully end it all up with a nice list of suggestions for Monica's project of the day, or whoever the project might be. All right, so that was about 10 minutes more than needed to be, but back to you, Pete.
Okay, thank you very much, Ken. I am actually monitoring this on my tablet right now, And we do need to worry about getting your camera fixed, because whenever you talk, it's just a big blank screen. So we don't even see your icon at all. So we do need to worry about getting that taken care of in the future. Very good. So here we go. Monica, I'm going to pass the baton back to you. I want you to describe for us the Monica Hour briefly, as far as your background, but specifically about what today's project is all about.
Okie doke. Okay, so I've been in film and television for about maybe 20 years. And basically, the Monica Hour was kind of created a little bit between me and Kent. Kent, of course, is the brainchild of the operation in most of these things. And basically, it's a live streaming talk show that addresses issues facing divorced LDS, devout, active 40 and older women, which is really primarily the target audience that we're trying to include. Let's see. So we're currently broadcasting live at 9 o'clock from on Wednesdays, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time in the morning, and it's one of 3 weekly shows that I have that we do. Although we are considering moving probably the show to the evening hours, because we might be able to get more people to join us. There's a chat room, or the chat tab on the screen. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Utah Valley Live, or the format in some of these where the audience is invited. There's those little chat tabs. Anyhow, so it's to date there's been like 3 episodes, I believe, and each episode averages about 7 live views, only 7, and approximately about 40 on-demand views. So we're trying to increase, I guess the goal is to increase people to chime in, and to, because we're talking about really good things. We're talking about divorced women in a community where, a lot of things aren't really talked about, kind of brushed under the table. And we're trying to bring some of these things that you don't find talked about in Relief Society out on the table, So, and be more candid about it, more honest about it. Not that Relief Society, obviously is, but there's a purpose for Relief Society, but there's also, this is the outside schooling. What I'm trying to create, a Relief Society, outside of Relief Society, is conversations that women have when they're in private, but sometimes don't really feel confident talking about, and their problems that that we're enduring and that we're facing. And so the main thrust of this, or the main goal, is to try to get people to join in. So I need help.
Okay, very good. So my first question to you, Monica, is if this is meant to be a Relief Society type of offshoot, do you have a tablecloth and some doilies there?
That's what I'm saying. It's not a Relief Society conversation. We're talking about sex. We're talking about all kinds of stuff. So I don't think
okay. I'm sorry. I just had
This is the extension.
Yeah. But okay, very good. So let me just pass it around the board here a little bit. If you have any questions across the board to start us up before we actually start trying to create a plan that might work for Monica. Adam, what do you have any questions for Monica?
I do. Now you said, I'm taking notes here as you were talking. It's the female LDS in Utah County. What's your scope here?
I think mostly. I think it's actually, it could be LDS no matter where you are, but because we are broadcasting live from Utah County, and we're broadcasting from here, and it is predominantly LDS. It could be really it could be worldwide. I mean, the problems that we're facing are it's global. Whether you're a divorced woman who is 40 and over, finding yourself single for the first time after 20 plus years sometimes.
Okay, and so, but your focus right now is mainly the LDS female divorcee, right?
Correct. Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know what? I know it's a large thing, but do you know who or what the specific demographic age is? Is there a range?
The target is 40 and over for us.
40 and over. Okay.
40 and over for the show. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Is that good enough, Adam, for the moment?
Yes.
Of course, you can certainly ask more questions later on as we go around the table here. Amber, what do you got?
Just a quick question. What have you done so far as trying to get out your message? Who have you talked to?
That's an excellent point.
What have you got going on?
Okay, first of all, I have to admit I'm totally like technology dumb, and I don't know how to do it. Honestly, I barely learned how to send an attachment in an email like last year. So, anyhow,
that makes you our target market here. So
yes, exactly. So I'm going to learn while you're teaching.
You almost got a spit take from me.
So I haven't really done anything, and I only have like 172 friends on Facebook. So honestly, I'm like totally, I don't understand, technology, and so I really need to understand that a little bit better, and how to social network, and basically I just do stuff on Facebook, but that's it.
Okay.
So in answer to that question, essentially, really, there's
That's
been
a
nothing.
blank canvas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
What makes it fun?
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Very blank.
Now, I know, Kent, you're really close to the project, but do you have any questions that we've kind of missed that you might want to bring up? Kent, are you with us?
Kent, there's no audio on you, Kent.
Okay, we've lost Kent.
How's that?
Hey,
Much
that's
better.
There we
There you
go.
go.
Okay.
Did you hear the question?
I did. Thank you.
Okay.
She established the target audience. She established the tone. The one thing I'd like to add to it is that this is a show for devout, active LDS women. And the distinction is clear because at no time, even though there'll be topics that are not necessarily addressed in Relief Society, at the same time, there's no intent to throw rocks at the LDS Church or to imply that any of its doctrines need to be replaced or anything that would be concerning as far as an attack on the LDS Church goes. And so that is a play. Obviously, the Divorced Mormon Cougars is a play on it. The other thing I want to add that I think we've mentioned before, maybe for Amber, is that we think that as part of popularizing this show, that there actually would be a market for a T-shirt that said "Divorced Mormon Cougar" or a nightshirt.
Oh, absolutely! You'd make $1 million.
And seriously, as
I
far
want a
as
piece of that.
right, as well, you have a piece of it because as far as a product tie-in goes, I actually think that would be a great way to get the name of the program out there and to put a smile on some people's faces. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Very good.
Super. And I do know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because it would be generally format to our regular program. Tell us what type of budget you have for any kind of campaign.
It depends.
I'm not telling you a used car here.
Oh. Okay, Monica.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, the answer to this one is
zero.
Is zero budget with the exception of the aforementioned potential product sales, and this is a live broadcast, which means that Monica has the ability to take advertisers and to run their ads during her show.
That's true.
So there is a potential source of income that it's not atypical on the shows that have run on Utah Valley Live to run a 60-second spot at around $10 a spot. And so if you want to back into 6 to 8 or more potential sponsors during a 1-hour broadcast, that means she could garner anywhere from $60 to $100 in ad revenue plus any ad placements on her website, themonicahour.com.
Now, Kent, with that said, is it possible to increase that if the viewership increases?
Well, let's ask the panel.
To increase the cost of the advertising? The income?
If viewership increases, okay.
Yeah, I think
absolutely.
Go ahead, Adam.
Oh, I was just saying absolutely. I mean, you look at Google, you look at Facebook. I mean, the follower and the readership or the traffic they have, they're allowed to increase their advertising units or whatever you want to call it because of the volume they have. So, Monica, same thing. If you start out with, let's say, you have 10, 15 viewers, and the next month it increases, it doubles and keeps doubling. Yeah, then you have the cloud to say, we get X amount of readership. Kind of, I'm assuming, Ken, if I'm correct, kind of like, radio, where you have, X amount of listeners, or this when you have X amount of viewers, then you can increase, the the price for advertising. So.
Yeah, and the caveat, and Pete actually could address that better than I can because of his years of broadcast experience.
Sure.
But it's not to be ignored is something we've learned at Utah Valley Live, which is the value of the ego value of the ad, so that in fact, and the sales ability of that somebody has. Pat Shranian could probably sell a spot at $50 a minute without any actual justification for that value because she's a good salesperson. Whereas
that's true.
I might sell it for a buck and have to struggle. So
no, you and I are in the same camp. That's my problem.
There's a wide range there. All right.
Okay.
All right, I appreciate that. I'm just looking at the clock here, and again, being our beta, or maybe this is our alpha version of this program, we're learning the ropes and learning how much we can talk, and already it's 11:20, and we need to be over in 10 minutes or less. So my bad for not keeping better track on that. So let's move right into the into some of the suggestions and ideas. The reason I asked the budget question was not so much about what your production budget is or how much you're making, but really to give us an idea as to how we should be formulating our brainstorms. We need to be at a low cost or a no cost approach for you right now, right, Monica?
I think so. Yes, that's
okay. So that's why I asked that question, because if you say, well, gee, I've got $500 or I've got $5,000, we can think of a lot more ideas you can do with that money. But when we have to think, limit our, and I know we shouldn't limit our brainstorming, but limit our parameters a little bit, then we need to be able to understand what those parameters might be. Okay. So that's why the point of the question. Okay, so I'm going to just, again, pass around the board. Amber, I want you to start off. If you have some quick ideas that you want to throw into the pile here as to what you might suggest that Monica do initially, and then we'll just go from you over to Adam, and then to Kent, and then myself, and then we'll start a big rapid discussion about those.
Okay. I would think, especially within the confines of your budget, the best thing you're going to do is find out where your target audience is. You know who they are, which is a huge step above a lot of businesses. But now you got to figure out where they are and then go to them. It's going to be less expensive for you to go where they already are than to bring them to where you are. So talk to your divorce lawyers, your marriage counselors, your daycare centers. Figure out what your divorcees are needing. Especially if it's a recent divorcee, do they have kids? So are they needing daycare? Do they need to sell their home? Are they trying to relocate? That kind of a thing. Go to where they are already looking and make sure you're there. And that's a nice place to pick up your advertisers too. Talk to your divorce attorneys, your marriage counselors, that kind of a thing. Family counselors, again, after-school programs and that kind of thing. And make sure you have something, whether that's a business card or some kind of an email, something that you can hand to them that says, this is who I am, this is why it's important, come find us. It can sit there as a reminder for them, so you don't have to call them every time. They don't have to think about it every week. It just automatically shows up. So that's an email blast or what have you.
Okay, yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
great idea.
Awesome.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Adam, want to add to that?
Great analysis, Amber. She's great at doing that. I have a quick question. You said you have a Facebook page, Monica, but do you have one for specifically your show or business?
Yes.
You do. Okay. So, and I haven't had a chance to look at it, but one of the couple things you can do is make sure it is branded properly. And then, on those, if you have business cards and everything, on the back, use QR codes that can link to your Facebook or to your website. And there's a couple of different things you can do with the social media. Obviously, inviting people, but then inviting other people. Another way is to have somebody become an admin on your page on there who also has readership.
Okay. Yeah, because 170 people, friends aren't going to cut it.
Right, and so you need to get outside of that and find others who have information. Like today, after we get done, I'll be posting this on our on my Facebook page, and I have about 300 or so from both aspects of religion, just on that. But we're constantly getting more and more as we're doing things. So it's the interesting thing about social media is it can grow slowly or it can grow really big. It just depends on getting it in front of the right audience, and which is what Amber spoke on. So you can tag that onto what Amber spoke on, and doing that to the social media.
What about like a blog or something like that in YouTube?
Absolutely, absolutely. Video is huge. You could do things, little snippets. I would suggest not to go, and Pete can chime in here on this. I wouldn't go any longer than 2 minutes. Maybe have a tip of the day or something for divorce.
Okay.
For divorce, the 40 and over. Something
I like that, like 2 minute, 3 minute soundbite kind of thing. Tip of the day. I like that.
Yeah, 2 minutes or less. Nothing more. Just you want to get in, get out, have your logo, whatever you have. That way you can post it. Have your Facebook. You can post it on there. Post it on your YouTube channel, and you can have it linked up to a Twitter and wherever else. But getting that out and
like daily,
would
that be daily, Adam, or
I would
no?
I would say start off once a week.
Okay.
On Facebook, you don't want to constantly share too much.
Yeah.
With Facebook because people might get sick of you. So do 1 a week, see how it tests out, and then maybe you might do 2 a week, and you can kind of go from there. Pete.
As an add-on suggestion to that, do it weekly. Do it about 2 to 3 days prior to your broadcast, so that your clip is hitting the web, whether it be Facebook or YouTube or your own channel. That you've got then a chance to give a great tip, a great idea, share some fun, whatever the idea. It's almost like your weekly announcement, and say, and our show is on Wednesday, whatever time that might happen to be. So you link
okay.
that broadcast, that email blast out with your video that directly promotes your television, your program on that coming Wednesday. So just a couple days before.
That's perfect. I didn't, that's one of the best ideas.
Now,
really, that's perfect.
Now, even though these little clips will be viewable in the future and way past the event, you can always say, watch the broadcast live on Wednesday, or watch it on our YouTube archive, or our Ustream archive, or wherever the broadcast happens to be archived. So you're linking it always to something else. There's an action that's going to happen there by your audience to move forward.
Should I always link it or discuss it, saying bring it back to YouTube or a different site? I can't really interchange it, right? It has to be one stationed site, because if you start saying, okay, go to my Facebook or go to my YouTube, or you have to be constant.
That's a good question, maybe for Adam and maybe even Amber, or even Ken might have a better answer there. But I would think that wherever your major audience is, and that might be Facebook, it might be somewhere else, wherever that major audience is, that's where you link it to.
Okay.
Ken?
I would just have to echo that. Yes, correct. Because if let's say Facebook is your hub where everybody is, everything else should push to that. Just as a business may, has their website and everything's pushed there, same type of thing. If all of your audience and if all the people are there at Facebook, you want to push it there.
Okay.
All right, and for what it's worth, because her show can be broadcast on the Facebook page, then once that decision is made where that hub is, it does not have to be the website. The website stays there. We just embed the code with the Ustream Live app. Now, I have a question both for Monica and for the rest of the panel, and that is, one, what about this 9 a.m. versus maybe 7 or 8 or 9 p.m.?
Right.
For the target market? Thoughts?
Adam, go ahead. I have a thought, but I'll let you start.
I was going to say it depends, because, if are they working? Do they have children they're having to get out? Do they have time in the morning to be able to go do that? My guess, just from experience with divorced mothers or of that age, typically no, because they are either getting their kids out the door, trying to get things going, or they are at work. So I would think, at least in my opinion, later might be better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I will concur with that. I think that certainly there's good information to be had from an archive, but it's going to do more for your morale, your personal morale, to see an audience that is participating live. It's nice to have numbers that are racking up in an archive, and that's not to be discounted at all, but the fact that you can talk to a live audience, there hopefully is some interaction, because that's part of the thrill of the webcast, is that chat or other means of getting people involved. I think the more you can do to make that exciting during the broadcast itself, the more energy is made for the rest.
Right. What about an hour then? What, at 9 p.m. as opposed to? I mean, we're doing 9 a.m. But if we're talking evening, is that you got the kids down, you're ready to relax? Or is that too late? Or 7 p.m. It's 5 p.m. That's kind of like dinner time.
Yeah, you know, it might be better to go that later route, maybe as early as 8, but 9. You know, there is no perfect time in our world today. There really is no perfect time. We all have something going on. We're out doing something. Certainly, stay away from weekends for a late night. Right. But
definitely,
I think 9 o'clock might be a good start right there.
And once you start getting a product that people are attached to, then that starts becoming their priority. So it doesn't matter what else is going on. That, you know, you get some excitement, you get some energy surrounding that, and get some momentum. They're going to start making that the priority. As someone who is nearly your audience, happily married, but nearly your audience, I would definitely say 9 o'clock at night.
No announcement,
would be
please,
better.
Adam. No, Amber, no announcement.
No.
We won't tell anyone.
No, I've had my 2 dates, my 3. Now I think later at night, when you have a chance to breathe, then I think you'll probably have it better.
Yeah, I think women let their hair down in the evening, and that's when you can actually. Okay, so I think maybe we should shoot for 9 p.m. just for a trial. Might be a good idea.
Okay. Let me ask the group. Let me ask the group something else, and that is, we're specifically with the title of this show, which is somewhat provocative. It follows up on another series of shows that Monica and I did, which was called Single Marriage, and one of them was called Let's Get a Divorce. And again, heading towards a similar audience. But there's an intent both in the style, hopefully, of the conversation and in any of the collateral, whether it be logos or written materials, to emphasize the cougarish, kind of aggressive, you know, claws out. At the same time, they're nice LDS ladies. And so to overplay the role, and then Pete, maybe we could play to you on that, your involvement with production, as to seeing it as a role versus, and even our reality shows nowadays aren't real, they're staged. And so to that degree, how does the panel feel Monica can position herself as the host and then her co-hosts so that it stays just a little bit provocative without crossing any lines as far as being cougaresque?
I like that.
Good number of statements there. Yeah, you know, there is a line there that has to be drawn at some point as to, you know, how provocative one goes. But there's no doubt that dancing on that edge is going to increase your audience. But in the same token, being that close to the edge online could, as Kent knows, as he monitors chat rooms, can be an issue. So you got to have fun with this. You know, the show can't be just, okay, let's just talk. It's got to have some life. It's got to have some entertainment value. It's got to be able to keep and hold the interest. And whether that's by shorter segments or more guests or more topics or rapid fire discussion, you got to just keep that interest going all the time. And that way you don't have to dance too much with the the overly provocative things, but keeping it light, keeping it fun. I'm sure part of your goal is to lift the spirits. It's not only to tell them where the next dance is, but it's to lift the spirits of these ladies that are struggling. And so by keeping it fun, keeping it light, and keeping a good mood on the whole topic, will entertain them more.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I think you hit it right on the head.
Very funny, Pete.
Thank you very much. I am a visual kind of guy.
Then
I do look at.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Ken.
As far as visuals go, right now there are absolutely zero graphics for this show. There's no logo. There's no graphics. The one picture that, in my mind, that could be taken which led into the long nightshirts, was exactly that. 2 or 3 women standing in a posed photo with their divorced Mormon Cougar nightshirt on and in high heels. To Amber shaking her head.
That ain't going to fly, huh? Is that going to fly, or is that just like a joke?
No, it would be a nightshirt that was knee length to cover up LDS garments, and so that, again, the concept there is that you don't have to lose your standards to be this type of cougar, but there definitely should be. And so Amber, and you, since the 3 of you are more experienced in creating visuals than I am, how about if we just maybe as our last piece address what the first graphics should be and any potential ideas that you might have beyond the one that I just mentioned.
Well, I'm sorry. I'll take a couple seconds.
Go ahead.
Just talking from a pure art direction perspective, the idea of the long form nightshirt, which I think is very appealing, is nice for a catalog type shot, but because of its full length angle, you'll never be able to really read any kind of logo or any kind of detail in that image. So certainly having a background or having a few shots of ladies in the full length shot is nice, but generally speaking, it's going to be a tighter shot with the logo much more prominent to be able to be understood. Amber.
Okay.
I think you're right. I don't know that the way to go is to actually have someone modeling the shirt. Like I said, for a catalog shot, I think so. I think, Monica, what I would do is really figure out 4 or 5 words that describe what you're trying to accomplish. If it's the lifting of the spirits, if it's the camaraderie, if it's trying to create community, if it's adding this resource, if it's just a sounding board for the sad story, and then the transformation, and then you can have something that's very LDS background, whether that's if you're talking Utah, you could easily have the mountains with the Y on there, or the spires, or something like that, something that's very LDS, or very feminine. Okay. So that it's very clear that as much as we're talking about cougars, and isn't that kind of tongue-in-cheek silly, something that's still, again, we're very LDS here, we're very devout, we've lost our husbands, not our faith, that kind of thing. I would suggest going more toward I'm a survivor, I'm successful, my marriage failed, I didn't, as opposed to I don't know, I would think something very strong, very survivor-ish, more than the other way. So
I love that line. I've lost my marriage, I lost my husband, not my faith. That was awesome.
Right? That's perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's really good.
That's very good. Yeah.
That was the gem of the moment right there.
Yeah, nice tagline. Yeah.
I'm trying to write it down, but my computer just is not playing right today. And those are 2 lines you said there. I lost my husband, not my faith, wasn't it? And then what was the other?
No, I don't know. I lost my. I'll go back and listen to it.
I lost my marriage, lost my husband, but I haven't lost my faith.
Lost faith, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my marriage failed. I didn't. Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was. Thank you.
Yeah, marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, Monica, you got both of those then?
Yep, sure do.
If
Very
somebody
nice.
can actually type on this shared document better than I can, then they can put it on the shared document.
I can try it.
But I'm kind of stuck right now for some reason.
Okay. Adam, do you have any comments you want to add to this before we wrap this part up?
No, not really. The one thing I like what Amber said is, the community, because I'm seeing this as the more you talk and the more we're talking and getting creative, it's a community. It's not to replace the Relief Society or that type of thing, but some ladies don't feel as comfortable, in that setting, and may need, some friends or help who are going through the exact same thing that they're going through, in kind of, I don't want to call it a support group or anything like that, but that kind of thing where it's friends who are having the same experiences, because they may not always have that. And like Amber said, if you're building that community, it's going to be there.
Yeah, I like that, because it's true. It's like we're trying to find the middle. We're trying to be religious, but yet at the same time be practical and honest about what's going on. And so that's the fine line. It's the difficult walk, because you want to be entertaining at the same time and funny, because some of these stories are hysterical, and if you can, they're really funny. These people that are out there doing these things, unbelievable. It's funny. And then on the other side, there's the heartache. So you're juggling heartache with a little bit, I don't know. So it's a fine line, and there's not really a distinction as far as like, what is it? Is it this? Is it that? It's all over the board. So it's kind of hard to pick a niche, really. So.
Okay, let me throw in some comments, and I think we'll end this since we're now 12 minutes over our time. I apologize for us going longer than what we said we would. I've had a lot of success over the past years using other internet sources to create groups of like-minded individuals, and I'll talk about one specifically, but there are probably many other types of organizations online that do this. But what we're suggesting are, and I love what Amber said about, you have to go find them. You need to go find the audience, whether that be through lawyers or other groups. You need to go to them, because they're not looking for you. Right. They don't know you exist. So, like you say, on Facebook, you have 117 friends. They're not looking for this content, so you need to go out and find them. You certainly have to have the foundation laid of Facebook or other social media sites to back up what you're saying, but you have to step out of yourself and go find them. And so I would suggest a few things. One, a very physical way is, and pardon my not knowing the market perfectly, but is hitting those those types of events that the church does offer to those single members of the church. That would be the dances or firesides or activities. Have a card, just a simple little card that has the name of the program and a brief description as to what it is, and pass that out as much as you can at those events without being commercial, and get people to attend, to look up, to find you, and that takes really one-on-one kind of you're out there marketing to people and meeting people directly. If a different approach, like I mentioned initially, is other media groups or meeting groups online. I happen to organize a number of different groups on the meetup.com, meetup.com, and that is it is a site that allows people with local interests to get together. It could be book readers, it could be nature walkers, it could be photographers, which is what I've done. It could be any number of different groups, and I know for a fact, just because I get emails from meetup.com, that there are a number of organizations or clubs locally that cater exactly to your market. Maybe not specifically to the LDS woman, but local women who are single, divorced, single mothers, and there are a number of these different groups out there, and you can join these clubs and go to an event, go to an activity, or simply post on their page, an announcement, and that might be a good way to use social media or different types of media to attract more audience to you.
I like that. Okay.
So look those up and certainly join those. It's going to take an active part on your
some footwork. Really, it sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, if you had $10,000, you can buy radio ads and buy TV ads and the mainstream. Great, but you don't. So you have to, what is it you can do personally to bring people in that door, in that internet door, to come to your portal. Okay, everybody sound good?
Very nice, thank you guys.
Yeah.
So give us a little feedback, Monica. Has this been a good 45 minutes well spent?
Excellent, 45 minutes. Wonderful. I appreciate all the thoughts and ideas. And just it gives me more ideas too, so it's perfect. It's like your idea is great, and I add my own and have some I don't know, some come out of this, so I can kind of brainstorm within my brain. So.
Well, that's great. That's our whole purpose, is to get more thoughts percolating in what you're doing and what other people are doing. And I hope that our other viewing audience, those who are not been actively involved with us today, can see some of the, I don't mean people on the panel, I mean people watching, and maybe see something that we may have mentioned, even though it's specifically towards you, that would be a benefit to them. If they feel like, well, that's similar to what I do, that there might be a tidbit here that works well for them. Kent, I'm going to ask this question. It's going to hurt my heart, but do we have anybody in the chat room at all?
We did throughout most of the show, but they seem to have disappeared at this point. And that may be because we went past our 30 minutes. I don't know. After we end this broadcast, by the way, if everybody on the panel will stick around, I don't think it'll kick us out. But if we're, Pete, why don't you wrap the broadcast up? I'll then end it, and then we can have a little quick process review right afterwards.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ken. So this is the conclusion of our first podcast of Crowdstorming Your Business. We intend to do this every Wednesday at 11 o'clock, from 11 to 11:30. For the next month, throughout the month of October, we will be continuing in this trial period with very limited audience. We would like you to invite friends, but not make this a huge thing. We're not quite ready for our premiere yet. We hope to do that in November. So we appreciate any feedback you might give us. If you are watching out there, you came to us because of somebody on the panel, so please get back to us. Let us know your thoughts and ideas, and we will certainly try to incorporate those helpful suggestions you might have. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank our panel again. Kent, thank you. Amber, thank you. Adam, thank you. And Monica, thank you for sharing your story with us. We will probably have you on again in the future when we're a little more full-fledged, and hopefully even take you to new highs within
Oh, let's hope so. I like
this,
it.
within this
Thank
world.
you,
Thank you
guys.
for
Appreciate
joining
it.
us. Okay.